This is Midnight Too Smooth, and this is my very first video that I'll ever be posting so far. I've got a couple more planned, but that's in the near future. What I'm going to be doing is a prepper's guide to prepping with the family. This isn't really like a tutorial, so for all you super advanced preppers out there, this is not for you. This is for beginners who are just looking for somewhere to start, and they have families. So just real quick, I'm just gonna give you a quick brief. I'm married and I have two small children. So most people's first question is, how do I prep when I have a family? Like, what kind of things do I keep gathered for myself? Most people you see prepping, it's just them by themselves, and it's very easy to prep when there's just one person. It is very easy. So pretty much what I've put together is most of the 10 C's. If you ever watched Dual Survival, Dave Canterbury, he's the bald-headed guy from the first season. He was the first military guy, and he's all hardcore American military. And he has a lot of very excellent survival videos. And one of his things that he has, the most important thing that any prepper should keep in mind, is the 10 C's of survival. The first 5 C's of survival are cordage, cutting tool, combustion device, cover, and container. Those are the first 5 C's that you will need, absolutely need, for survival. The next 5 C's is a compass, cotton, a cloth sail needle, construction tape, which is pretty much duct tape. You just needed to see, and a canceling device, which is pretty much a headlamp. As you see, you got one over there. And these 10 C's are pretty much the basis. Really, all you need is the first 5 C's. And everything else after that is just for your convenience, really. So I've thrown mine together, and this isn't just to point out this is how you should bake your bug out bag if you plan on bugging out. I, for one, don't plan on bugging out. I think that's a pretty ridiculous idea. But so unless you got a good plan of where you're gonna go, and unless you got some barn far out in the farmland somewhere, I wouldn't plan on bugging out. Well, anyways, here we go. I'm just gonna start dishing out everything I've got. And number 1 on the 5 C's of survival is cordage. See, I got some cordage right here. These little wristbands are really nice. You can keep them everywhere. And supposedly when you unravel them, give you about 30 feet of cordage. Also, this is just normal 550 cord I got here. If anyone knows anything about 550 cord, is once you open them, there are 7 little strings inside, and they actually hold up to 70 pounds of tension. So if you don't know why you would need cordage, they have multiple reasons, from building a shelter to making traps, making fishing line for you to fish. Also, one thing that they don't mention, most preppers don't mention, is rubber bands are excellent for freaking preppers. I just got me a nice size rubber band ball, but this is the rubber band ball I've conjured up, and it's a nice size. There's probably about 200 rubber bands in there, probably a lot more than that. However, rubber bands are excellent for at least building shelters, because all you have to do is just latch them around something. They're elastic. But I wouldn't plan on building any permanent shelters with rubber band balls, or rubber band period, because the longer a rubber band is stretched out, the less elastic it gets over time, and it starts to actually stop pulling towards the center after a while. So I would only use rubber bands for temporary shelters. And the next thing is a cutting tool. As you see, I've got me a nice Bowie knife here. I have plenty of more cutting tools. However, this is just the one I use for the video. This is a Timber Rattler Bowie knife. I got it off of BugK.com. It's like only 20 bucks actually. Very good knife. Has a lot of purposes. It's heavy duty, real thick steel. You see that? It's a full tang. It goes all the way down to the bottom. And if you're going to get any kind of prepping knife, any kind of knife period, I would get a full tang knife because they're least likely to break. Anything that's not full tang is pretty much a piece of junk. And also, there's no point in having a knife if you don't have a sharpener. I got this nice little sharpener right here. It's only about $9 to $8. I also got it off bugk.com too. And I thought, wow, you're going to be, chopping stuff down, trying to skin stuff, and that blade is going to get dull. So if you don't have a way to sharpen it, that knife is just going to pretty much become a blunt object, and it's not going to be as effective. You're going to find yourself working a whole lot harder to try and cut average stuff down that you could normally just chop in half. But I also got a couple machetes, so that's just to represent that you need a cutting tool. Number 3 is a combustion device. Like you see here, I have these excellent little, pop out here. These are like magnesium rods, except all you have to do to make them get a spark is just push down, and it get you a fire real easy. But make sure you practice with it. Starting the fire is not as easy as just rubbing some sticks together and all of a sudden, boof, flames pop up. It takes a lot of care. There's a lot of layers to a fire. And just to show you a quick example of what I usually keep, lint is probably one of the easiest things on this planet to use as tinder. And I'm telling you, it works like magic. But I wouldn't rely on lint. I know a lot of natural things that I could use as tinder very easy. But just for a shortcut and to show other people who may not know, keeping a little roll of lint in your bug out bag can be very helpful. Also, some camping matches. If you have these, you'll never really need the matches, to be honest. But for like wet conditions, it helps a lot to just have a surefire rather than trying to spark something that's already moist, and it's going to be very difficult. So just keep that in mind. All right, number 4 is cover, which I actually don't have in this. Well, actually, my wool blanket is outside of my car because it's been pretty cold here in Oklahoma. So I have this. This is a camouflage ski mask. There's actually 2 of them. But camouflage ski mask for woodland areas. And also have these emergency blankets. Emergency blankets are excellent not just for making your shelter, because you could put them over, but you can actually wrap up in them. And recently I seen this real cool video. A guy, he layered it with a multicam blanket, and it made him not only heat invisible, if I can say that. I don't think that's proper English, but it reflected heat, and it also camoed with the area. So I know a lot of people around here worried about drones and stuff these days, and if the drone can't see you through its normal camera, it has a heat camera on it too, just to let you know it's not just a normal camera rolling around. It has thermal, and so if it can't see on either one of those, you'd be pretty much invisible. So those emergency blankets are very handy. And also the blanket to keep you warm. It keeps you warm. It hides you from both types of cameras, and is very practical if you're going to be bugging out. The only problem is how big would that blanket be? That's something you got to keep in mind. Alright, so moving on, have a container. Here I only have this little pot to represent the container. This is a nice little camping pot that I brought from Academy Sports. I don't know if you want to see inside. It's not that big, but I mean it'll boil water. But for real practical, you would want like a metal container, like a water bottle metal container. That'd be very practical. It's a whole lot better than this little thing. And also, if you're going to get any camping equipment like this, pots and stuff, don't get aluminum. I don't know what I was thinking, but I got an aluminum pot because it was like $5, and it came with a couple other pieces. But don't get aluminum. I can literally bend this thing in one hand. Like this It's cheap, so don't get aluminum. Now, that's it for the first 5 C's. And that is all you will need for immediate survival. Now, to make your life easier, the next 5 C's you will need is a compass to get around. I actually have a nice little 11, it's like a little 11-piece multi. Actually, you know what, I'll just go get it. Alright, I have no idea where my wallet is, so I can't find that tool for you, but just to give you a quick brief on it, it has like 11 different purposes. It has a edge for cutting, it has a butterfly wrench, a ruler, a bottle opener, and a can opener. It has a small little compass on the bottom, and not the kind of compass you're thinking, just a sense of direction. And I actually came up with a very simple way of navigating. And I have one of these all-terrain notebooks, so that they work good in the weather, in the water. You don't have to worry about it getting wet. But make sure when you get one of these, you get a good pen to go with it. You don't want to get one of these kind of pens. These suck. They smear. They smear. You can see the kind of ink in there. It's very smudgy, and it does not go well with this kind of notebook. So get you a good pen that it sticks into the paper, not just on the paper. But I actually devised a very nice way of navigating with that. I might show that in a later video. Also, now a cotton bandana. So you might be asking, why would you need a cotton bandana? Multitude of reasons. It can work as a tourniquet for tying off a wound. It can be used for water filtration. If you want to clean some water out and then boil it, there's a lot more that goes into purifying water than just putting it in the fire and all of a sudden, poof, it's clean water. Now you got to clean it out first and make sure there's no loose materials in it. Also, you can just, if you want to cool off during the summertime, just wet it and put it over your head to keep you cool for a while. But another thing that I have that'll work just as good as this, is not better, is what they call a camping towel. It's pretty much a cheap ShamWow, in my opinion. And this is excellent. It holds water very good. And the piece that I have, I had a huge piece, and I couldn't like 4 smaller pieces. But I mean, you can use this as a rag if you want to wash yourself, or a towel, of course, because it sucks up water. But also, this would probably be 10 times better than a cotton bandana when it comes to actually filtrating out water, because water does not sink through this very easy. So as you can imagine, if you put some water in here, it's probably going to come out 10 times cleaner than what if you put it through this little thin bandana, because this is nowhere near as thick as this camping towel, as you can see. Also, I got the camping towel. If you see the wipes on top of it, like I said, I have kids, but these wipes are going to run out eventually. And this camping towel will be ideal for wipes. As long as I'm beside a water source, I can just rinse it off in the water, then wipe my kids off. Cleanliness will be a good thing if you're going to try and bug out, because you don't want to be walking around for 6-7 months stinking. If you want to, that's fine. It's up to you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be clean. I'm going to wash myself some way. Now going on to number 8. I actually don't have a cloth cell needle yet. To be honest, I probably won't get one unless I just happen to stumble upon one and it's like 30 cents. But that's not something that I see super necessary for survival. I mean, and you got to keep in mind with bug out bags, everything is for you, for your purposes. As long as you know how to use it, and as long as you know the practicality of it, and it's going to help you survive, that's all you need to worry about. You see a lot of these expert preppers show a bunch of stuff of what they would do. I'm not them, and their problems aren't my problems. So I don't live in a certain type of environment. Most of these guys are, these elite military, ex-military people, and all they need is a knife and string. I can't do that. I can't survive off a knife. I can't survive off a knife and a string. Not with a family. Not at my skill level. I don't know too many people who can, but yeah, just make sure everything that you put in your Bug Guy bag is made for you. You know, as long as you have a use for it, it's useful. So everyone's bag is gonna look the same. But anyways, moving on. Number 9 is construction tape, which is pretty much duct tape. See, I got a nice roll there. Anyone who ever fix something knows duct tape does it all. That's all I need to say about that. And the last thing is a canceling device, which is pretty much a headlamp. The only reason headlamp is on here instead of just flashlight is because a headlamp offers a whole lot more mobility, hands-free mobility. You don't have to worry about holding a flashlight in one hand. You can do whatever you need to do hands-free while still getting light. But not only, aside from just a headlamp, these 2 crank flashlights are, I'll take these over a headlamp anytime, mainly because the headlamp's going to run out of batteries eventually. I mean, I've got a nice 24 pack of batteries here I got from Harbor Freight for like $4. It's a whole lot better than the next leading brand. So if you're gonna be a prepper, be smart. I always look for a sale. But yeah, these crank flashlights will last for a long time. The one in the middle, the yellow one, actually has a radio on it and a siren in case you need to alert someone or something. But yeah, canceling device. Just make sure you got some flashlights, pretty much. And that's pretty much it for the first 10 C's. Everything else after that is, you know, for your convenience. And for example, for my convenience, I got some bolt cutters and a crowbar. These right here weren't that much. I also got these at Harbor Freight. These bolt cutters were only about $8. And I didn't get them to actually cut bolts. I really just got them to cut fences open, because I can't jump a fence if I need to get somewhere with my wife and my kids. My wife is only like 5 foot and my kids little, and I'm not going to be trying to throw them over a barbed wire fence or any fence over 6 feet, to be honest. So I'm just going to cut and go right through it. I brought the crowbar for prying open doors, obviously, because I need to get inside the building. And it also can be you can pull up nails, so that's a good multi-purpose tool to the crowbar. Also, moving over, this is actually a fake 357 Magnum. It's just a little pellet gun. It'll be decent for small game hunting. Just in case you don't want to use ammo just to kill a squirrel or a rabbit. It's actually pretty accurate, up to about 8 meters. But however, this is not to represent that you need a pellet gun. This is to represent that you need self-defense firearm to defend yourself, defend your preps, defend your family. I got a real 357 Magnum, and it looks exactly like this one, except it actually put a hole in somebody. So firearm, of course, to defend yourself and your preps. Crowbar and wire cutters. Gloves. Now I got some Oakleys. These are pretty high-speed gloves, but you don't need Oakleys, especially not these. These are combat gloves, but I tell you one thing, they are crappy in the wintertime. I went out to the range to shoot, and it was only about 30 degrees. I was only out there like 20 minutes, and by the time I finally got inside, my hands were freezing, and I didn't want to be back outside anymore. Also, these little things, these compressed towelettes, they really go with the first aid kit. When you buy a first aid kit from stores, they usually don't come, let's just say, field ready. There's some things, a lot of things you need to add to it yourself. So the first thing you need to do when you get a first aid kit is bust it open, see what's inside of it, see what you need to add to it or take from it. I actually opened that one and found 2 more emergency blankets inside of it I didn't know I had. So I have 4 instead of 2, and I was about to go buy some more. I didn't need to. But back to these compressed towelettes. they're pretty small, but I got them to clog up wounds in case someone never gets a open wound or a gunshot wound gashed open or something. You can plug those inside of a wound and it'll suck up and it'll clog up a wound real fast. The gauze that came inside the first aid kit are not enough for something major. If you need gauze, then the amount that they put in there is not going to be helpful. So you're going to have to add some stuff to it yourself. Also in the back, I got some rim oil back there. And the rim oil is pretty much for cleaning and lubing my guns. Because I don't just have one 357 Magnum, I got a couple of weapons. And my wife has one. And rim oil is to clean those weapons. If you don't clean your weapons and lube them up, they can malfunction on you. And a malfunction in a bug out situation or rule without law, you can't afford to have a malfunction on your firearm. That can be, dinner or lunch, however you want to look at it. That can be a meal you miss out on. That could be you saving your life from somebody trying to shoot you, and your weapon malfunctions and you lose. So it's life or death, so you got to be ready. Also over here I got some water bottles. The reason I always keep at least 4 to 5 water bottles in my bug out bag ahead of time. I mean, I know how to filter water and make water myself, but I mainly got the water bottles for the container. When I boil water inside this little container or any container period, I need something else to put it in. When I boil my water, I don't just boil it and all of a sudden pour it inside of a container. I filter it, and it's filtered into what I'm going to boil it into, and then after I boil it, I filter it again into the container I'm going to drink it out of. That's a good way to maximize the cleanliness of your water. Alright, sorry about that. My son was banging on the door, and there he is, being crazy over there. That is the reason I prep. Anyhow, yes, water bottles. I got them just for the containers. I need something to put my boiled water in, and I can't just have one bottle, obviously, because I have a family. So 4 bottles to boil my water in, and these aren't actually the bottles I'll use. I'm going to use some metal containers that I'll actually have, so we can all boil our water, and actually I'll have other containers to put them in too. Also, a multi-tool. These things are priceless. Actually, I honestly don't see how Dave Canterbury didn't put a multi-tool in the first 10 C's. Actually, I can, but if there was a third group of C's, the multi-tool would definitely be into it. I don't know what words you would conjure up just to make it a C, but the multi-tool should definitely be in there. So, and then, of course, alcohol and hydrogen peroxide for cleaning any kind of wounds or anything. This guy's crazy. See? This guy's crazy. That's my son, though. But hydrogen peroxide and alcohol, obviously for cleaning wounds and other multi-purposes they have, excellent for prepping. I just keep one of each inside my bug out bag in the bottom of it. In case I ever need it. Obviously, because the first aid kit doesn't come with everything you need. And lastly, I have some Allen wrenches. I just brought from Harbor Freight. Also, I get pretty much all my supplies from Harbor Freight or BugK.com. But these Allen wrenches are just to represent that you'll need tools. Not necessarily a bunch of Allen wrenches or Allen wrenches only. You know, some screwdrivers, flatheads, some wrenches, those sorts of things. Because you never know where you're going to be, and you're going to need tools. And it's better to have and not need than need to not have. That's a sucky place to be in. Also, one last thing I almost forgot was the bottom ones. Ignore those stink bombs. I just brought those just to see how they smell. Those are like $2. But these pull string firecrackers right here, you can see the little red, obviously, in the strings. What happens is you pull them and then they pop. They're like little firecrackers, and they're pretty loud. I mean, you can hear them from a good distance away. But I got them for security reasons and like an alarm system. I cannot ever get any quiet in this house. But you can tie them up with your cordage if you rig it up really well. I found that you can make it tight enough so you can make it like a trip wire, if anyone steps on it, it'll pop, and you can use it as an alarm system to alert everybody. But that's pretty much in terms of most of the things that I currently have in my bug out bag. Oh, I'm so silly. The most important part, the last two things actually, I know I keep forgetting, but I'm trying to rush here because my son is getting aggravated. He wants me to come outside and play with him. This right here, what you see, is a clothed diaper. And the cool things about these is they're reusable. I don't know if you want to see. Right here's a little opening. It's an opening, and you pretty much just put these big cotton pads in there, 2 of them at least, and it'll suck up all the moisture inside of the diaper. Then of course, as you can see, like this, these aren't hard to clean, so if your kid takes a number 2, it wouldn't be hard to clean it out as long as you're beside some water. Put some rocks in there to help grind out the extra mess that's stuck in the fabric, and you can actually clean those pretty easily, hand wash by yourself. I have a bunch of these for my daughter. I haven't got some for my son yet because I'm hoping that he'll be potty trained by the time anything pops off. And that's for children, but also for women. This may make some people uncomfortable, but they actually have just like they have clothed diapers, for women they have clothed tampons, which may sound strange to some of y'all, especially younger people who are only used to these little paper wraps that they can just grab and throw in a trash can as you use them. But back in the day, that's not how they got it. They actually used rags, and they just washed them and reused them. So clothed tampons is, if any female prepper or anyone has females in that group, to get at least 7. So that way, as you use them, you can clean them and keep going. It may make you uncomfortable, but it also saves you a lot of money rather than worrying about buying tampons every month or every so often that you'll need them. And lastly, super lastly, this is the final thing actually. I keep forgetting stuff because I'm rushing. But I have extra clothes, extra underclothes. This is a tank top and socks. This isn't the only thing I have in my bug bag. This is just to represent underclothes, and that you'll need at least 3 to 4 pair. The way I have my things split up in my bug out bag, everything fits almost perfectly, but you'll need underclothes to change. At least 3, pairs of underwear and socks, and undershirt. Now these socks right here are freaking expensive, man. These are Under Armour. It cost me like $12 for 1 pair, but they're very long. They come all the way up to my knees, and I'm like 6'2". But the purpose of them is they help keep your feet cool during the summertime. And if you flip them inside out, it has the reverse effect, and it actually helps keep your feet warm during the wintertime. So $11 for a pair of socks, but it was worth it. And I'm just going to go into giving some preppers some advice. Like I said earlier, make sure when you prep, everything that you have is for you. Other than those stink bombs, everything that I have on this table will help me survive in the World Without Law situation. And that being said, making sure the first 5 C's need to be in everyone's bag. There's no purpose in one person having all the 5 C's, because what if that person gets separated from the group or loses their bag or something like that? So everyone needs to have the 5 C's in their bag. That's a cutting tool, kindling for starting fire, cordage, and containers. You need to have all of those in every single bag. And then everything else you can manipulate however you want. But for the very least, the base you need to start off with your bug out bag is the first 5 C's of survival. And just go out here and learn how to survive. Like what we call survival, some people just call camping, and some people even call that just life. We've got it pretty good here as Americans, and we're pretty spoiled. So I've been learning my camping skills. I've been out to the field a couple of times practicing building a fire, with the sparks, with the matches, and with sticks only. A bow drill seems to actually be the easiest way to make a fire, for me at least, as long as you got some cordage. I've been practicing making shelters. It's actually pretty easy. It's just you have to have the mindset forward, the understanding of how to do it. It's not just throwing a bunch of leaves on top of sticks or digging a hole in the ground. It's a lot more to it than that. So don't assume you know how to do something just because you've seen a video of it on YouTube. Go out and practice it. That's the only way you're actually going to learn it and know how to do it. And there's a couple of more things that I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting, but for the most part, I just wanted to focus on helping people who are going to prep with families, giving them a place to start. And I think I've done that for the most part. So on that note, I'll end this video. Thanks for watching. You don't have to subscribe. I'm just trying to help out. Just trying to help out some people who don't know how and don't know where to start. So hopefully this would be helpful. If it is, let me know. If it's not, then just let it go. But that'll be pretty much it. God bless you, and I hope this video was helpful.